I stand with Ukraine. There are swear words in this podcast today. Just be aware. Hi, everybody. And I'm going to start with where I am on blankets for Lent. I finished this one, which is going out to the person that asked for it to be finished. I showed this last week. This is the blanket that someone's mother, grandmother, whatever relative made. And they had 9 of these 4 squares of granny squares done, and I sewed them together 3 by 3, and then I did 9 rows of single crochet around the outside. And they have a blue blanket similar to this with this same border, so I didn't have to invent anything to do this. The yarn, they provided the yarn and everything, so this was not something I needed to think about a lot, but it turned out really nice. I'm very happy with how it turned out, and I'm glad that I was able to help this family have a finished blanket that their relative made. And so that one's done. That one's out the door. And then the other one that's almost out the door is the feather and fan. That one's crocheted. This one is knit. And let me hold this one up. There we go. I have it's yarn held double, baby yarn held double. I've got a little bit left. I've got 2 more skeins of this, but I'm not going to use them. I'm going to stop after these 2 are done because this is almost a square. It might have been designed to be a crib blanket size, but no one's waiting for this one, so I'm going to make it square plus. And this is a really, if you want another bang for the buck blanket, you do have to pay careful attention on the eyelet rows, but then it's 2 rows of knitting and 1 row of purling. And then you do the eyelet row again. And you do have to count, the knit 2 togethers and then the yarn overs to line them up and make sure. And I've had to tink back on several rows where it didn't line up right. But overall, I think it's coming along quickly. And that's because 3 out of the 4 rows are just, straight across. So another bang for the buck in terms of effort blanket makes it's very ornate. And this is on size 10 needles. The original knitting from the person that gave this to me to do said that they had started it 30 years ago, which I believe. The label, I will show you the label on these yarns. If there is a price tag on one of them, they might have already fallen off. But it was Kmart, $1.10 for Fentex Baby. Show that. There we go. So yeah, this is yarn from the 80s. So yeah, finally getting finished. So that's good. That's a UFO out the door. UFO for that person, certainly. And also it's been sitting in my stash for a while. So Lent is the time for me to do that. And I wanted to tell everybody that Second Sock Week, just remind you, Second Sock Week is March 24th. That will give us 8 days to finish the second sock for March if you're doing a sock a month, or if you just have a second sock in your stash that you haven't finished. This is the March sock for me, which is Sporty Stripes with the Grocery Girls doing Sporty Stripes. And I'll put details below on this sock, although I've been showing it several times already. So March 24th to 31st is when I'll be knitting the second sock on this, and join in on that second sock week. We do that every month. I want to talk a little bit today about a new knit along that I have started and how I came about coming up with it. And allow me to preface this. I went on an AI therapist, which I do not use as therapy, but I use it. I like to sign on to AI chatbots to see what they're doing, see how they're behaving. I do use AI for first drafts of some of my illustrations for Crooks and Liars. I always Photoshop over the top of that because the lettering is never right. The faces are often wrong. But if I'm looking for particularly an illustration for a news-related article, for instance, the Professional Left podcast yesterday, I created a cartoon that had an elephant with a millionaire riding an elephant and a donkey with an empty saddle next to it. And the man behind had an exclamation point over his head, and the caption was, "Reporter surprised that millionaire's elephant weighs more than a donkey." And so, but that's a political cartoon. And I had to ask Bing AI many, many times. I think I did maybe 18 iterations of donkey and elephant in a scale, out of balance, whatever. But AI came up with all of these things. And I also knew to ask at some point for 19th century engraving political cartoons and add that to the prompt. And so a lot of skill is needed when you're doing AI stuff to know how to prompt AI to do what you wanted to do. So, like I say, I always Photoshop over it. I'm interested in therapy AI as a writing tool. Not only, I mean, there are all kinds of science fiction things written about, chatting with the movie Her, for instance, AI girlfriend. But I'm interested in the responses and how the people that designed the AI have what the limitations are on it and what the benefits are, and also how well it does in responding to questions. And it's a writing tool for me. So I was feeling very frustrated about politics and so forth, and I decided to use that opportunity, and this is a journaling exercise for me, to start with. The one that I used this time was Abby AI. I also use one called Earkick, which is Panda AI therapy. And I put links below for both of those. Panda is no sign up, no chat, no email, no whatever. Abby wants to charge you. So take that for what it's worth. I am not using this for mental health. I want to be clear. I deeply appreciate mental health professionals. I have there's family history of needing mental health professionals and taking advantage of that avenue, and so I have a great deal of appreciation for actual one-on-one human medical intervention, therapy, whatever. Like I wouldn't use AI exclusively or specifically for therapy, but this exercise came out of me feeling frustrated about politics. And I went to the AI, and I specifically brought up knitting. This is where I'm going with this, as a way of de-stressing and an escape, and also a positive thing to be doing when I'm feeling upset. And so, the AI asked me questions, and this particular AI Abby Like I said, eventually it wants to charge you, so you're limited into how many times you can interact with it before it says, yeah, now you got to pay. But this AI has several different settings, and I know Earkick does as well, where you can set it so that it simply kind of reflects back to you. And that the most rudimentary AIs, early AIs, were you would say, I'm upset about my mother-in-law, and the AI would say, oh, really? That's very interesting. Lots of people have problems with their mother-in-law. Tell me about your mother-in-law. And then you'd say, well, they want to take over raising my kid. Oh, you have a kid. Tell me about your kid. And it would always reflect back just what you just said in the form of a question. So that's one setting in Abby. Another setting is advice. And I usually set it to advice rather than just reflecting back, because reflecting back is not helpful in terms of writing. So this is what, and I'm sorry I don't have my prompts printed out, but my prompts were about being upset about politics, being upset about Social Security and Medicare and people being fired, and Trump and Elon Musk and all of that, being upset about Ukraine, being upset about all that, and also knitting, and how knitting has helped me de-stress and find constructive things to do with my time. And so this is how the AI responded. And I wanted to share this with you today because it leads somewhere. Okay, so AI said, Abby, it sounds like knitting is not just a hobby for you, but a form of expression and a comforting routine, especially amidst the stress of working in the news and uncertainties you're facing. The fact that you've been knitting for such a long time shows a dedication and passion that not everyone has. And I've been knitting. Abby asked me, how long have you been knitting? I've been knitting for 43 years. A dedication and passion that not everyone has, and it must be incredibly rewarding to see how much it continues to contribute to your life, both in terms of personal satisfaction and as a tool for coping with life's pressures. Okay, so that's just reflecting back what I've already said to the AI. Given your long history with yarn crafts, I imagine there's a lot you can draw from it to navigate challenging times. The key to using knitting as a form of self-care is to focus on what you can control: each stitch, how a pattern comes together, and a tangible result of your efforts. This sense of agency and mindfulness can, in turn, help to diminish the grip that news-induced anxiety might have over you. It's easy to feel powerless in today's world, but empowering yourself through creativity and skill building can create a buffer against the negativity. Also, knitting for yourself with the intention of gaining appreciation. And I had talked about, AI asked me, when are you most happy with your knitting? Something to that effect. And I said, when I get compliments for my sweaters. When I wear sweaters that I knit, and I didn't knit this one, sorry. When I wear something that I knit and I get compliments for the work, that is when I'm happiest. Right. Where I'm here. So also, knitting for yourself with the intention of gaining appreciation shows a healthy self-reward mechanism. Maybe you can extend this to other areas of your life. Finding small wins outside of knitting could be why would I do that? Knitting is everything. Finding small wins outside of knitting could be another layer to add to your self-care routine. For instance, setting mini goals related to areas that concern you, like staying informed and ready to act on issues like Social Security in productive ways. Well, that's true. Can give you a deeper sense of empowerment. And again, 5 calls, calling my representative, actually making sure I'm on mailing lists for Social Security Works and those kind of things. Yeah, I have done a bit more of that lately. There's nothing quite like wearing something you've meticulously crafted yourself and having others appreciate it. It's a tangible reminder of the creativity and skill you possess, which, let's be honest, is a much-needed boost when the rest of the world feels heavy. Each compliment must feel like a little nudge affirming that you're doing something right, both in your craft and in how you choose to navigate stress. Speaking of stress, given your background in knitting and how it's been a part of your life for so long, I wonder if there are ways you might explore using this skill to bolster your resilience. Have you ever thought about combining your knitting passion with community or social action? Yeah. Maybe leading a knit along for a cause you care about could both expand your circle and impact the issues that concern you. And when I read that, I'm like, why don't I do a fuck Trump knit along? So we're going to do it. This is the Tax the Rich hat. Eat the Rich hat. I'm sorry. Someone else has done a chart for to add tax to this. This is Eat the Rich hat. It is by Lanja, Lanjakhon Cone Engheim. Langa Cone Engheim. And it's a free pattern on Ravelry that came out last month. It has 31 projects so far. And now there's a woman who's just such a sweetheart. And I'm sorry I don't have her handle here. I will put it below. I will put it in the links below. Who's done the fuck Trump chart? And has all of the stuff on it about where you need to start it on the hat, on the Eat the Rich hat. So she's got eliminate first 6 stitch columns of chart 2C and eliminate last 6 stitch columns of chart 2A. So this is really a lot of work. Laying it out within this Eat the Rich chart. She's got, you eliminate these little loops and so forth and fit everything in there. So this went on Blue Sky that night and suggested a hashtag F47KAL. And quickly, there were enough responses for a hashtag F47CAL for crocheters. And there are fuck Trump washcloths and pillows that are crochet on Ravelry as well. So I did not put this up at the UFO because this is going to be a new cast on for me. I put this in the Stitching Liberally group on Ravelry. And again, I have links below in this YouTube for finding the Stitching Liberally list, where the Stitching Liberally post that I put up that also has a link to the pattern. It has a picture of the chart, the fuck Trump chart. Although this, like I said, this pattern is free. All the charts are free. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for making the fuck Trump chart. And yeah, it's just, in fact, maybe I do have that up. Hold on a minute. Let me pull that over. I have that up here. The fuck Trump chart is by Crafts Untold. CRAFTS, capital UNTOLD. She's also Crafts Untold on Blue Sky. So, really nice collaborative effort from everyone on that. And like I said, there's a lot of excitement on Blue Sky about this. Also on Ravelry in the Stitching Liberally group. I have links below. Also, I have listed the hashtags. It's F47 because I didn't want to have the TRUMP word. Looking at that is just triggering. So F47, KAL, and CAL. And I am not going to cast this on until Easter because I'm working on Lenten blankets. So this will be the next thing for me starting April 20th. I'll be doing the hat, and I have picked out colors. This is a nice blue, and let me tell you what colors these are. These are Madeline Taj. These are yeah, Tosh Merino Light. That's what this is. And the colors are Fathom and Spicewood. And so I think those are really going to dance very well together. And that's going to be the hat. The background is going to be the blue. And I'm a little bit nervous. If anybody has any experience with knitting a hat like this, please leave a comment, because I'm a little nervous about the corrugated ribbing and fit. I'm probably going to have to do a big swatch and just make sure that I want that to fit over my head. So it may take a little time to get there on that. I don't have any reading today because I knew I was going to be reading a lot with all the therapy, AI therapy stuff I had to read to you. But yeah, I think knitting Eat the Rich. Oh, and then people come up with other ideas too. Some people are going to do something about Musk. There is someone who's put up a chart for the word tax to put instead of eat the rich, tax the rich. And then someone did in the Stitching Liberally group ask about, is there going to be some sort of proceeds of the pattern sale going to ACLU or anything like that? It's like, this is a free pattern. And I'm not doing fundraising for ACLU right now. This is therapeutic. It's not. And they replied back to me and said, yeah, craftivism is complicated, and not everyone has to do everything all the time. Sometimes you're just knitting a hat to make yourself feel better, and that's very important. So, and this doesn't take away from the joy hat that I knit last October. So I want to say that too. This is really, it's tough. Tough times. So, yeah. Thank you for watching, and all right. Thank you. Bye.